Good evening. This is a huge scandal. I think Labour are covering up Britain's migrant crime wave. The government is trying to prevent the publication of data revealing the full scale of foreign offending in England and Wales from 2018 to 2024. Why? Well, why could that possibly be? I mean, there's only one reason, isn't there? The true stats on migrant crimes must be absolutely awful. I mean, you know the worst bit? Labour's Justice Minister Alex Norris and Prime Minister Andy Burnham could end up using taxpayers' money to go through the courts to block British tax.
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Taxpayers from knowing about how many immigrants have committed crimes in their own country. I mean, this is treacherous stuff to me. Now, 11 families of victims of crimes carried out by migrants have written to the Justice Secretary demanding that he ends this cover-up. They include the family of Rhiannon White, who was stabbed to death by a Sudanese illegal immigrant who stalked her after her shift at a migrant hotel. He then danced as police and ambulance crews failed to save her life. This is like the Pakistani rape gang cover-up all over again. This is like the Afghan resettlement scheme all over again, where successive governments went to court to prevent us from knowing that they'd secretly imported thousands of Afghans, some of whom went on to commit sex crimes. This is like the secret government nudge unit that has been accused of trying to nobble families of victims of migrant crime into giving statements saying things like, "Oh, we don't want our child's murder to be used to stoke division," or "we need to be a kind and inclusive society." I mean, how dare Labour hide the truth about migrant crimes from us? How dare they when they're about to move thousands of illegals into the British countryside? How dare they when they're moving tens of thousands of illegals into HMOs on streets all over the country? How dare they when we can all see it with our own eyes? Just today, Sudanese illegal migrant Ibrahim al-Bashir was sentenced to 25 years in prison and an indefinite hospital order after stabbing a lone woman 30 times. He grabbed the woman and injured her head, neck and chest, and a group of men managed to get him off her because they heard her blood-curdling screams. The migrant told doctors that he was born, he lived in Sudan until he was about 25. Then he travelled via Libya and Italy and France, where he spent some time in a mental hospital and was eventually refused asylum. The judge then said that al-Bashir told medical staff he'd arrived in the UK from Calais, having used the services of people smugglers. He lived in Luton, Coventry, Birmingham, Barrow and Furness, and then ended up in Leeds when he was thrown off a Manchester to York train for not having a ticket. And 2 days before his attack, which took place in Headingley, he was actually stopped by police in the area after he was found with his trousers round his ankles and in a trance-like state. But he was released and no action was taken. Look, I am reporting cases like this every single day. And I think that your government wants to hide this stuff from you because they know that if the truth came out, you'd probably kick off. And we know that it's bad because of data from the British Transport Police that has already been revealed, showing that foreign nationals are responsible for about 80% of thefts on trains in 2025, 40% of sexual assaults. I mean, it will be interesting to see the racial demographics of the remaining 60% or so. But anyway, Office for National Statistics data has revealed that foreigners are 3 times as likely to be arrested for sex offences as British nationals. The Ministry of Justice has published some migrant crime data showing overall numbers for sexual offences, and it does reveal that foreign nationals accounted for 1 in 7 of sex offence convictions last year. But the MOJ has not provided individual crimes like rape, murder and arson since 2018. And again, you have to say, why not? They keep refusing to do it. Imagine how bad the full statistics must be if this government is trying to hide the full truth from you. Just imagine. And let me tell you why I think they don't want to release the data. Firstly, yes, they don't want civil unrest. So they'll just carry on letting foreigners rape and murder people for the sake of keeping the peace. But secondly, the truth would mean that it would all come crashing down for people like this.
Looking around this diverse room, Donald Trump's worst nightmare! It's a pleasure to have a great night. And remember, diversity is our greatest strength. It makes us
It is the very fact of our vibrant, diverse and free societies that gives us our collective strength.
And recognise the strength of a multicultural, multilingual, multi-ethnic society.
Yeah, it would come crashing down for people like Fraser Nelson as well, who's been doing his absolute best to tell us that we've never been safer, actually, while living in the borough of Richmond upon Thames. It would all come crashing down for the police chiefs, the politicians, the lefty-lovey actors and actresses who've been doing mass migration and mass illegal immigration propaganda for the best part of 20 years.
Government secrecy, or civil protection. The truth behind UK foreign offending figures. Welcome back to Britain Underneath, the place where we cut straight through the political posturing and unpick what is really happening across the United Kingdom. Before we inspect the details, I kindly ask you to take a moment to subscribe to the channel right now. Supporting Britain Underneath helps us build a stronger platform dedicated to sharp, unfiltered commentary on British public affairs. Let us delve into the story unfolding across Whitehall today.
It would all come crashing down for the establishment media, who've been desperate to tell us that things aren't really that bad. Oh, look, we're fact-checking. Farage, are foreigners more likely than Britons to commit sexual offences? Yes, as it turns out. And look at this as well from the BBC, who are absolutely tripping over themselves to tell us about the success story of a 20-year-old Sudanese asylum seeker who managed to get 1 GCSE. Well, it makes it all worth it, doesn't it? Fantastic. I think the true figures are going to be absolutely awful. And that's why they're hiding it from us. But look, I say this to the government. Go on then, prove me wrong. If you're not ashamed of anything, if you haven't got anything to be ashamed of, just go ahead and release the data. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We've got former Tory advisor James Price, Reform UK councillor Russell Quirk and broadcaster Nina Mishkov. Right, James, I'll start with you. It's absolutely staggering that the government is willing to go to court, the highest courts in the land potentially, to cover up the migrant crime stats.
Yeah, absolutely right. And as you say, if they've got nothing to be afraid of, why would they try and do this? Because they know these stats are very, very bad. I think it would be a really interesting and useful point, because you will see a lot of people who are migrants from other countries commit a lot fewer crimes than your average Brit. I don't imagine seeing an awful lot of Japanese criminals, for example. Mrs. Price, as you know, an American lady, I'm not sure she's committed all that many crimes recently. I'm sure she's already tucked up in bed and her crime-fighting days are behind her already at this point. But you will see more crimes being committed from people from certain countries. Now, I don't think that is because those people have any kind of ethnic or biological predisposition to do it, but I do think they probably have a cultural predisposition to do it. We know this because you see a lot of people not being deported or attempted to not be deported because their criminal defence barrister will say, well, in my client's defence, he told me he didn't know that raping someone was wrong. He told me he didn't know that that was a problem or that there was such thing as an age of consent, for example, because those things are different in other cultures. We know this. We know that women and gay people and etc. are treated much worse in certain countries and certain cultures than they are in others. And if we start getting that data out to actually prove what qualitatively you can already know, then you might be able to have an economic migration system that could have more high-quality Japanese or American people in or whatever, and maybe fewer people from countries that don't know it's wrong to rape.
But at least you could have a conversation about it as well, without people being able to go, oh, that's racist, or, oh, well, they haven't really got the data for that. I mean, we've already got a fair amount of data, but you really do have to work for it. Yeah. And this is it. I don't think they want us to be able to go, wallop, there it is.
Well, it's like all problems, isn't it? If you don't acknowledge the bones of the problem, so to speak, how on earth can you possibly fix it? Unless, of course, you're trying to cover up years and years of sixth form ideology that has stated through various governments, Labour and Conservative, that all migration is good.
In a recent broadcast, Standard News commentator Patrick Christys raised serious concerns about government transparency regarding criminal justice reporting. He pointed out that the Ministry of Justice has reportedly resisted requests to publish granular, itemised datasets detailing foreign national offending rates across England and Wales from 2018 up to 2024. Christys argued that withholding precise figures regarding offences such as assault or theft leaves the British public in the dark about crucial public safety metrics. He noted that families of victims are calling upon senior ministers to release the records to ensure full democratic accountability.
Good. Well, I've got news for our politicians. All migration is not good. Now, I would argue, actually, very strongly, that this country was built on immigration. And actually, I think we should be proud of that. However, what we've done since Blair, since 1997, is to let all and sundry in. People that don't want to contribute, people that don't want to live by our laws, and people from different cultures. This is not about ethnicity, by the way. So it's a very lazy thing for the left to say you're racist. This isn't about ethnicity. This is about cultural differences. And the fact that there are some cultures across the world, whether they be sub-Saharan Africa or the Middle East and so on, where they simply think differently, not just about crime and societal rules and norms, but particularly about women. They feel differently about women in terms of the constraints upon them and how they behave around women. So let me tell you, a society, a culture that thinks it's OK to stone women to death because they're suspected of adultery, a society that doesn't think women should be allowed to be educated or to drive, it is no wonder that those people then, when they come to our country, treat women in an abhorrent way. But what we must do is acknowledge it, and I would argue that those people from those countries, if they are proven to be generally a threat to Britain, those countries should not have visas issued to them, and indeed, if they are illegal migrants from those countries and proven to be, of course, they should be immediately sent back.
Nina, do you think that they should be releasing this data?
What good will it do?
Or we know that...
I mean, seriously.
Well...
Seriously, what good would it do? It will only... If the stats are as you imagine, it will only inflame vigilantes. And 14%... There was that statistic, 14% of the crimes committed by foreign nationals. That meant that 86% of crimes were committed by British nationals.
You're really defending this, Nina?
No, I'm not. I am just. I'm putting a theory to you. OK.
You don't want to know what the data says.
I want to. Of course, everybody needs data. Facts are knowledge. Knowledge is power. But I'm saying why. No, I'm saying why they might not want to. Because
it would cause unrest as a consequence of what successive governments have done to this
exactly, and it would cause unrest. May I just point out another statistic for you?
If you value straightforward, measured analysis on national policy, please consider subscribing to Britain Underneath. Your subscription provides vital support that keeps this channel growing and producing fresh content regularly. Looking at this commentary objectively, Christie's highlights a very valid public frustration regarding transparency in government reporting. When public institutions withhold specific administrative datasets, it naturally creates a vacuum of information that can quickly lead to public skepticism and unease. In a functioning democracy, citizens expect clear, empirical data to evaluate municipal policing, judicial performance, and border management. Denying access to granular breakdowns often harms public trust far more than the data itself ever could. Take a breath, consider these arguments carefully, and stay informed as we explore the wider context. Please take a second to hit the subscribe button right now. Supporting Britain Underneath ensures that you stay connected to deep, incisive breakdowns of United Kingdom politics. At the same time, it is essential to consider the administrative and legal counterarguments raised by official bodies. Government departments routinely cite privacy compliance, administrative costs, and the need to prevent individual identification as reasons for withholding specific localized datasets. Official policy advisors often caution against releasing generalized figures that could lead to misinterpretations or heightened public tension without providing proper context. However, critics counter that other European nations routinely publish thorough citizenship-based criminal statistics without compromising individual privacy rights. Please support our work by clicking the subscribe button on Britain Underneath. Every single new subscriber helps strengthen our platform, allowing us to bring you rigorous, analytical content week after week. Ultimately, This ongoing controversy illustrates a fundamental tension in modern British governance between civil data privacy and public right to know. Whether examining border management, judicial operations, or community policing, maintaining full statistical transparency remains a cornerstone of strong democratic accountability. As legal challenges progress, the decision will likely establish a precedent for how open government records must be moving forward. Thank you for tuning in to Britain Underneath. Please remember to subscribe, stay informed, encourage others to join our community, and return for our upcoming videos as we continue to track the political decisions shaping the country.